but we're looking ahead to the new year now, so some top movies of the year.
One of my favorite times of the year. We're looking back at my favorite films of 2017.
You're just vibrating.
Now, we're going to do 10 in total. Right now, we'll do 10 to 6. I have to mention, before we get into number 10, though, for honorable mention, Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water didn't quite make the cut for the top 10, but I want to say it's a great film, but it just squeaked in at 11, so I had to make some tough decisions, and I don't think I've had a year where I've made so many changes last minute to the order. So let's get right into it. We'll begin number 10 with Mother. This is from Darren Aronofsky, the visionary auteur director behind movies like Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream. This was the most polarizing film of the year. Shocking, offensive, and downright brilliant. This represents
offensive.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, this is a director working in top form. Stars Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem, and they're a couple whose relationship is tested when some uninvited guests arrive at their home, disrupting their tranquil existence. Also has Michelle Pfeiffer there, and a great role from Ed Harris. This is the best tension-fueled thriller of the year. You never know where it's going to go, and if you haven't seen it, don't let anyone spoil it for you. It's full of biblical allegory, all kinds of metaphors, and the sheer confidence that Aronofsky displayed in this film was staggering. Also, credit to Paramount for really taking a gamble on this movie, because it deals with some really tough subject matter. It doesn't have a really tidy ending or anything like that, so challenges the viewer. I loved it. It stuck with me even though I saw it months ago, so that's my number 10 of the year, Mother.
All right, let's move on to number 9.
A beautiful love story, Call Me By Your Name, and remember this when it comes to award season. Set in the summer of 1983, a precocious 17-year-old named Elio, played beautifully by Timothée Chalamet, spending the days with his family at their 17th century villa in Italy. He meets Oliver, a handsome doctoral student who works as Elio's father's research assistant, and Oliver is played by Armie Hammer. This is a sumptuous, glorious love story that is probably the best romantic film of the year. It is gorgeously shot. The performances are incredible, including Michael Stuhlbarg, who plays Elio's father, and it just has a lot of poignant moments in it. It examines, youthful adolescence, that first, when you first have that romance as a child, all the highs and lows that come with it. And when you look at it too with the backdrop of the Italian countryside and the villas, it's also a beautiful look at history and architecture and things like that. So, oh my gosh, what a brilliantly crafted love story this one. Call Me By Your Name, my number 9 pick of the year.
We're counting down Thor's top 10 movies of the year. Number 8.
Okay, you can't go wrong with Spielberg, Hanks, and Streep. I'm going The Post for number 8. Katharine Graham, played by Meryl Streep, was the first female publisher of a major American newspaper, The Washington Post, and with help from editor Ben Bradley, played by Tom Hanks, they raced to catch the New York Times to expose a massive cover-up of government secrets that spanned 3 decades and 4 U.S. presidents. What I loved about this movie is that it was so parallel, so timely to a lot of things that are going on with the freedom of the press, with the government trying to clamp down on that, and yeah, they try to bring long-buried truths to light. It was co-written by Josh Singer, who won an Oscar for Spotlight, the 2015 Best Picture winner. Also, Liz Hannah contributed. And this marks the 28th collaboration with Spielberg and composer John Williams. Can you believe that?
Meryl Streep again, too. Does she ever sleep?
And this is the movie that, from the top down, from the directing, the acting, the cinematography, the script, it's all there. It is a virtually flawless film, and just a riveting look at journalism. And again, very timely. A lot of parallels to what's going on right now. And at number, what are we at? 7? Get Out. Oh my gosh, the best social satire.
I thought you were just saying Get Out.
Best social satire of the year. This is from the mind of Jordan Peele, best known for the comedic duo Key and Peele. But this is awesome. So Daniel Kaluuya has his girlfriend, played by Allison Williams, and she invites him to a weekend getaway at her parents' home, and he's noticing a little kind of weird behavior from them and some nervousness as the weekend progresses. A series of increasingly disturbing discoveries lead him to the truth, something he never could have imagined. This is one of the best written films of the year, and some great acting as well. Okay, let's get to number 6, The Florida Project. This was great too, from Sean Baker. It's a deeply moving and unforgettably poignant film, and look at childhood. It's set on a stretch of highway just outside Disney World, and stars 6-year-old Mooney, Brooklyn Prince. She plays Mooney, and it's a brilliant turn. The kids in this movie are just great. Willem Dafoe going to get a lot of Oscar attention, and it's a stark look at poverty and also sort of an urban fairy tale. This one stayed with me for weeks. Florida Project, my number 6.
It's time for your top 5 movies of the year.
Let's forget your snow troubles with my top picks of 2017, and we showed you 10 to 6 a little while ago. We're going to get to the top 5 right now, and we begin with 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. The title is a mouthful. One of the best movies of the year. Frances McDormand, expect major awards buzz for her. After months have passed without a culprit in her daughter's murder case, Mildred Hayes, played by McDormand, makes a bold move. She paints 3 signs leading into the town with a controversial message aimed directly at the town chief of police, played by Woody Harrelson. Now, Sam Rockwell is also sort of the deputy chief here, the second in command. He gives the best performances of his career, and I'm really hoping he can nab an Oscar for his role. It is a total character arc, which we often don't see in movies these days. There was so much attention paid to character in this film. It's a wonderful dark comedy, and that was what I loved, how effortlessly it straddled between drama and comedy, and that's courtesy of Martin McDonagh, the writer-director who also gave us In Bruges. So this is a razor-sharp script, sensational acting, and at times hilarious and heartbreaking. So don't miss 3 Billboards. And again, one of Frances McDormand's best performances. It's up there with what she did in Fargo.
All right, that was number 5. Your number 4 movie of the year, Thor?
Gotta give it to Lady Bird. I love this film. Saoirse Ronan, she's been a star since Atonement. I loved her in Hannah and all kinds of other great roles, but she stars opposite Laurie Metcalf. They're a mother-daughter duo. This is set in the early 2000s, and it's a coming-of-age story that examines the trials and tribulations of going through high school. She plays a high school senior at a Catholic school. Yeah, that's at the beginning of the film. It kind of sets the tone. I mean, coming-of-age movies come and go, if you will. This one, though, is one for the ages. It perfectly encapsulates that vivid, vibrant depiction of what it is to be a teen and all of the good and bad that comes with it. Oh, I just love the entire cast in this one. And this is from Greta Gerwig, who's mainly known for acting, but this is the first time she's been behind the camera directing a feature, and it is a sensational, unbelievable, fantastic first debut for a director. So she's got a long and storied career ahead of herself as a director, and Saoirse Ronan just turning out another epic performance. In Brooklyn, too, I loved her.
But she was great in Brooklyn.
She continues to just do astounding things. So Lady Bird is a triumph. It soars high.
So this is where we really get to the guts of it, Thor, your top 3 movies of 2017, and I know you toiled over this. Okay,
coming in number 3, Phantom Thread, and everybody is buzzing about Daniel Day-Lewis. This is apparently his final film role, and it's the second reteaming of him and director P.T. Anderson, who directed him in a little movie called There Will Be Blood, for which Daniel Day-Lewis won his 3rd Oscar, well, his 2nd, actually, because he won for Lincoln as well. But this is set in glamorous 1950s post-war London. He plays a renowned dressmaker by the name of Reynolds Woodcock, and he's at the center of the fashion world. Then he meets this woman here, who becomes his muse and his lover and a fixture in his life. It is a tumultuous look at relationships and a opulent time in London. The period detail is so meticulous. The production design of this movie is jaw-dropping, and it is a gothic romance at its core. So it's this haunting film that casts a spell over you, and I cannot wait to see it again. It's not out here for a few weeks. I'm going to be reviewing it soon, but Phantom Thread is just another stellar combination of Daniel Day-Lewis and P.T. Anderson. If this is his final role, it's a doozy, I tell you.
Do you believe him?
I do, yeah. It's basically going to be between him and Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour when it comes to best acting in the male category this year. All right, your number 2 movie of 2017. Oh, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. And if you had a chance to see this on an IMAX screen or in the theaters, you I'm sure had a treat, because this is about the evacuation of Dunkirk, May 1940, and it is just a brilliant look at a major event in the Second World War, and it had no gore, so it was virtually blood-free, but it's a war film, and that was one of the brilliant things that Nolan did with this. Also, it plays out like a silent film at times, where the Hans Zimmer score really does the talking for you, so I love that about it. It had this kind of ethereal quality to it. And the narrative structure, to me, was the most amazing thing about this movie. It has 3 stories that intersect by the end. One takes place over a week, one over a day, and one over an hour. But because Nolan is a mathematical wizard, he's able to bring them all together at the end. It is just amazing stuff. All right, from Dunkirk number 2 to Thor's number 1 movie of 2017. Well, when I first reviewed it, you knew I was tickled. Blade Runner 2049, 35 years after the original Ridley Scott film, Denis Villeneuve, the the French-Canadian director behind Arrival, Sicario. Just a brilliant, epic, sprawling science fiction masterpiece that not only complements the original, but enhances it by expanding the universe and taking it in all kinds of amazing directions. It looks at the nature of humanity. It grapples with all kinds of big themes. It's one of the best sequels of all time, one of the best science fiction movies of all time.
Wow.
It didn't do well at the box office, but that means it basically solidified its place as a cult classic and will be remembered and revered for decades to come. Blade Runner 2049, my top pick of 2017.
BT's Movie Man,
Bam!
Thor Cal. Thank you, Thor.
All right.